Welcome to this Library Research Skills session on managing references. In this session, we will look at using reference management tools to help organise your research. We will cover choosing a reference management tool, how to set up an account, adding and editing references to your reference management tool, inserting citations into your text, and then creating a bibliography for your work using Microsoft Word. It is really important that you think about how you're going to manage your information at the start of your research journey. This ensures that you keep track of everything you find and enables you to locate the relevant research when you need it. Reference management is also a key part of academic practice. Good referencing practice proves that your approach to your academic work is honest and original, and that you attribute and acknowledge the information that you use. A key research application are reference management tools. There are lots of different tools available, and the library web pages provide information on all of these, as well as links to access them. For this video, we are going to look at Refworks, which is the system the library subscribes to. If you have an Apple Mac, we would recommend that you use Mendeley or Zotero. Let's look at how to set up your account and the plugins that you need for Refworks.
So there are links to Refworks from our reference management pages on the library webpage. However, if you alternatively just want to go to Google, you can type Refworks and log in, and it will come up with the details. So you can see here the first results is Refworks. So if I click on this link, what you've got here is the sign in page. So to begin with, unless you've used Refworks before, you won't have an account. And if I actually scroll down a bit further, you can see there's an option here to log in using other credentials. And one of these, or the second one, is to log in using Shibboleth. This is the authentication system that the university uses. So what you can do is, if you click on that, or you'll get a drop down menu, if you just type in Kent, you will get back the University of Kent as your first option. So if you want to select that, now, because I have used Refworks before, it's taken me directly in, but you will probably be asked to set up an account the first time that you log in. So you just need to fill in your details. We recommend probably using your university email address for now, and you can then set up your account. Your Refworks will look slightly different because you won't have anything saved, so this will all be blank to begin with. What I want to do before showing you how to get information into Refworks is actually just highlight the tools here. So there's various options on the top, but the first one to make sure that you've got is this writing tool add-on. So if I click on here, what you're going to need to do, like I say, to begin with, as well as creating an account, is to install this Write and Cite option. So you've got here Write and Cite for Word. So you'll need to install this to allow Word and Refworks to work together. So you can just click on your download option, and you'll need to download that tool to begin with.
A key function of these tools is saving your references or sources into an online library. What makes these tools so efficient is the integration with the article databases, allowing you to save your relevant results from searching directly into your online library. We would now demonstrate how this works using two different databases.
So what we're going to do is go back to our results in the database, and what we want to do is select the articles that we want to keep and reference and send them over to Refworks. So how do we do this? Well, databases will work slightly differently depending which ones you're using, but a lot of the databases you use will be EBSCO, so we're just going to have a look at how you do it from EBSCO to begin with. So if you find the article you want, so this one, let's say I thought this is a really key article, I'm going to use this in my research, what I can do is add it to a little folder here. Once it's been added, and I can add a couple, so I might say actually I want all of these top 3 articles here, the little folder will turn yellow to indicate that it's saved. Now, how do you access that folder? If you scroll up to the top, you can see here you've got a folder, and if I select this, that folder should now have those 3 references in. Using the folders can be a good way to save your research, but what I do need to point out, and what is really important, is you do need to sign in and create an account with the databases to save articles within them. If I added everything to my folder and I haven't signed in and I close this browser down, all of those results will disappear because I haven't told them who I am, so they can't link it across. So what I want to do now is send these articles to Refworks, so I can select them again individually, or I can select all of them up here. And if I scroll across, you can see here you've got a export option. So what you want to do is click on that export option. And what it should then do is start whiling away in the background, and you get asked what you want to do in terms of exporting them. So the automatic default is RIS format. This is the format used by a lot of reference management tools, so if you are having to use something else such as Mendeley or Zotero, because you have got an Apple Mac or you've had a look and you think that these suit your needs better, then you would select this first one. For Refworks, if I scroll down, you can see here they've actually got here a direct export to Refworks. So this is the one that you want. What you have to do then is come back over here and save it. And you can say whether you want to keep these items in the folder after saving, or if you want to take them out. So if you're just doing it to get the articles into Refworks, it might be a good idea to remove them so you don't ever end up duplicating and sending the same references across twice. So hit saved. So again, it's just whirling away in the background to send these across. And I should now get an option about which version of Refworks do I want to send them to. Now we are still using at the moment the legacy version of Refworks. There are a number of issues with the new Refworks that haven't quite been completely ironed out yet, so we are recommending that you still use this legacy version. So if I click on no export to the legacy version, and then you could say that you didn't want to be asked again. And then what it will do is it will import your references. So you can see here it's telling you how many it's imported. So I've got 3 references. I could view duplicates. I can also have a look at the last imported folder. So we'll talk about this a bit more in a second, but what I'm going to do now is just close that down and show you. So what you can see is I've got those journal article references. So it's just the references, it's not the articles themselves, all listed now in Refworks. The first thing I'd suggest that you do at each stage when you do import articles into Refworks is having a good look at the information that it's pulled across and just making sure that you're quality checking that information. So check that the authors are all correct, that the journal is correct, the publication date, volume, issue, etc. And there's no kind of glaring errors. There's not anything funny like a capital letter potentially where it shouldn't be, or the wrong details down here. If you do spot an error, and sometimes there may be, because the databases may have indexed it incorrectly, what you can then do is along the top on these options here, you have got a edit option. So you can come in here and you can edit your reference and amend any mistakes that have been made there. And then what you can do is any changes you make, you need to make sure you're saving the reference. And then you can just get rid of it up here. Now, because I've just got these free references in my online library at the moment, it's not too hard to find them and stuff, but what you might want to think about doing is when you're doing lots of research and you're pulling across lots more articles, you can think about organising them and kind of structuring them so they don't just all appear in this one long list of references. So what you've got over here is you've got the things that aren't in the folder, things that have been last imported, and then what I've done as well is I have in the past set up some kind of folders so that I can save things to it. And what you can also do, you can see, is you can have subfolders within your main folders. So it's a good idea to think about how you want to structure your references and how you're going to organize them. So you can see here under this kind of organize and share folder option, you've got here a new folder option. So what I'm going to do is if I select my references, I could here put them into folders I've already got, or I've got an option to create a new folder. So if I put this as autism, and maybe I'll put it as school transition as well. So you can do it how you like. My colleague says quite helpfully, if you think about it almost like your kind of Outlook or your email, and you've got kind of folders within that to help you find information, you can do it in a similar way. So you can now see if I click on this folder, it should take me to that, and you'll have all of those articles in there as well. If I click on one of the others, these are empty, so I haven't got any references stored in here at the moment. So just going to demonstrate how you'd add articles from another database. So this is Scopus, so this is a general index and abstracting database. So again, same kind of principles, slight different format for doing it. So again, I can select the articles that I want. So again, I'm just going to select the top 3. And then what you can do here is there'll be a export option. So if you click on that, you've got various options. So Scopus is owned by Elsevier, who also own Mendeley. You've got then Refworks. You've got various other options as well. So you can select Refworks. If Refworks is not listed, you can also do it by selecting this RIS format. I'm just going to actually show you how to do it using this method. And here you can select what you want it to do. So this is just the kind of citation information. So that usually would be enough, but you might sometimes want some more kind of information. So you might, for example, want the abstract as well. You might want to keep the keywords and those kind of index keywords You could want the funding details and stuff, so you can select all of these if you want. I'm just going to stick with citation information and the abstract and keywords, and then I'm going to click export. Now, because I've done it as a particular type of file, it doesn't automatically send it across to Refworks like the last one. So what you can do instead, if I go back to Refworks, there's an option here for references. So you can add new, so you can manually create references to add. You can also import references. So if I click the import references, what Scapus did is it provided me with a little RIS file, so I can leave this as RIS. If I go down here, I can select which database it came from, so I can put in Scapus, and then I can choose the file. So these will usually probably go to your downloads. So if I scroll up, and this was Scapus 2, the ones that I just did, and you can choose that file, and then you can click import. And again, you can see it says free references imported, and I can view that last imported folder, so I can look at those references that I just brought in. So you can see again, you've got the full details, and you can see there you've got the abstract because you asked for it. Now, again, it's a really, really good habit, and I can't stress this enough, to check the information when you pull it in, because what you've got here in your other window is you've got the information from the databases. You can check that this has come through correctly. You can also look at if we've got it the full text as well, so you can check that these references are all correct and there's no errors. The other thing you might find that's useful at this stage is if I click on the view, what you can do here is look for duplicates. So a lot of these databases will have the same articles within them. So if you're exporting a lot of articles from one database and then a lot of articles from the other, you may find that you've got duplicates in your folders. And what you can do here is you can ask the database to look for exact duplicates, and you can ask them to delete those so that you don't fill it up with the same article twice. The other things you've got are, like I say, those tools that we looked at before. There's also help. So they have got kind of tutorials. Refworks provide their own videos. So if you are struggling, there's the Sports Centre and kind of webinars and stuff here as well. It's worth having a look at those, as well as obviously coming back to the library and asking us for help. So that's how you get your online library. So what we'll do next is look at the last part, which is how do you then get this into your work. So how do you get your references incorporated into your assignment? So if we go to Word, I'm just going to put in some random text. So you're typing out your assignment, or you've typed it out and you want to add your citations. If you go up to your tab along the top and you select Refworks, what you can do then is select the Insert Citation option. If I go down to the Insert New, what I can do is navigate to a particular folder and select the article, or I can search here by the author or the title, and then you've got some other options as well, so you can kind of edit your reference, so you can kind of hide various things. You can do it as a footnote, you could do it just in your bibliography as well, so it wouldn't actually include that in-text citation. So you could do this, for example, if your lecturers have asked you to include a kind of reference list of everything that you've read at all or consulted, and they just want you to then put it in your bibliography, you've not directly used it in your work, you can select that option. I'm just going to select the first citation, and it gives you here a kind of preview, and if I click OK, you can see now that I've got that citation in my work. In terms of your bibliography, what you can do is if you go down to the bottom of your document where you want your bibliography to be, if I go back up to the top, you can see here I've got the insert bibliography option, and it will add the bibliography then for me. If you look here, you can see that the style output for your reference, this one is actually Harvard. You can change this. So if you need, for example, to use APA 7, what you can do is change that by selecting the style options here. So you can see from the drop down, they've only got APA 6, they haven't got APA 7th on this options. But you can select another style here, and what this will do is give you some more available styles, and these are linked from your Refworks online. So originally probably you're not going to see it listed, so what I'm going to do is just pull up Refworks. Let's see where I've got Refworks saved. So just bear with me, and I'm just going to log into Refworks and I've done it through the wrong browser. If you do have problems sometimes with a particular browser, it's always worth seeing if it works in another one. So I'm just going to swap this over, and it's logged me in. If I go to the bibliography option, and you can see here there's an output style manager. So if I click on this, you can search for styles. You can see here there's a huge long list of different referencing styles available, and these are the ones at the moment that I've got saved to my favourites. So what you would do is you would find your APA option here, and you can see as well they've got various options for APA 7. So if you need to include, for example, the DOI, you've got various options here. Best thing to do is preview that output style. And you can see what it looks like. So just double check that this is looking what your lecturers are expecting it to look like. And then what you can do is you can add it by moving it across here to your favourites. And then what should happen is once it's synced up, if I cancel that, you can sync your databases, and you should find, it may take a little bit of time, but you should hopefully find that you can go then and you can find your other styles from your favourites there. If this doesn't work, please do get in touch, and we can have a look and sort it out to check that the referencing style is coming out exactly as you want. What you do is carry on just inserting different citations. So I'll just carry on with this reference system for now, just while it takes its time adding it to my database options. And you can see here what it's done is it's alphabetized your bibliography, because that's how Harvard likes it. This one here, if I look at this last article, you can see here that there is an error in that the surname is all in capitals. So rather than just the first letter, it's all in capitals. So what you do, rather than correct it here, like I said before, it's really important that you check the information is correct when it goes into Refworks. So what I would do is go back into Refworks, find that reference, make the amendment, and then I would sync my database, and it should correct that automatically for me.
So we hope this session has shown you some of the advantages of using reference management tools. If you do need further support, please do get in touch via our email, which is libraryhelp@kent.ac.uk. There's also lots of information available on our website, which is www.kent.ac.uk/library. And our Moodle module offers videos and guidance on related library research skills. And you can find that in Moodle either by its code, which is DP23300, or by the title Library Research Skills.